Hello, everybody. Today we wanted to talk about how we begin to assume the child of God identity for ourselves. President Nelson has taught that we must choose three grand identities to guide our lives. First, our identity as children of God. Second, our identity as children of the covenant. And third, our identity as disciples of Jesus Christ. Psychosocial research reveals that our ability to hearken to this counsel will be limited by the primary identity currently operating in our lives. But all is not lost. Even those with primary identities, with values, beliefs, and behaviors contrary to the child of God identity, can exercise their moral agency and make a change. But it will require great curiosity on their part to begin. And here's how. First, you'll need a tool called the ladder of inference. The ladder of inference is a construct described by a sociologist named Chris Argyris from Harvard University. The ladder describes the seemingly automatic and oftentimes unacknowledged ways we attribute value to the world around us and form beliefs and take action based on our evaluations. The ladder has 6 rungs and sits in a pool of data representing our physical environment. Each facet of our identity leads us to climb up the ladder. Our primary identity, the one which affects all other facets of our identity, keeps us locked into the values, beliefs, and behaviors associated with it. President Nelson's prophetic counsel invites you to descend from the top rung of action to the beliefs that reinforce that action, then to the rung of conclusions which reinforce those beliefs, preceded by the assumptions you make which reinforce those conclusions, and then come on down to the meaning you ascribe to the data you select or focus on within the overall data pool of the physical world around you. You're now down at the bottom of the ladder and you're in prime position to ascend anew, but this time armed with a completely different identity to drive you. Next, you need to select or focus on different data than those associated with your primary identity. In order to choose the child of God identity, you need to focus on Jesus Christ, His values, beliefs, and behaviors, as revealed through the scriptures and the teachings of Latter-day Prophets. As you select those data, you'll come to see Him differently than you do now, and it will allow you to ascend the ladder with the child of God identity as your primary identity. As you come to see Jesus Christ differently and learn of Him, you will attribute meaning to your own life with greater regard. You'll begin to gain a new perspective of the life He actually lived, the words He actually declared, and the ways He behaved. You will see His mission with greater clarity, including its scope, depth, and purpose. The meaning you place on His works, life, mission, and character will change. You will feel an increased desire to become like Him. As you start to live as He lived, you will begin to acquire His mind, His way of thinking and decision-making. This will inform how you make certain assumptions about what is right and good, how to trust God, how to pursue additional light and knowledge, and how to be still when everything is not fully revealed. Your assumptions about these things will lead you to form conclusions about the benefits of thinking and behaving as He did. The Holy Ghost will attend you in greater measure because it is sent forth to testify of Him to anyone who wishes to obey His doctrine. You will conclude that living after His example is good. As you arrive at the top of the ladder, you'll begin to believe things that He believes, including things that happened before you were born that you cannot recall, and things yet to come as He has prophesied. You will also believe His words given to His servants, the prophets. You will trust them because you believe that Jesus does too. You will accept the covenants and obey the ordinance that He has revealed to His servants in His gospel. And you will have no problem acting on these beliefs, even when it is challenging or difficult. because you know now something about his character. You have proved him in days that are past, and you know he will be a light unto you in your wilderness of despair and darkness. This process of ascending the ladder of inference, armed with the child of God identity, is how one comes to fully assume the child of God identity for themselves and be sanctified by the Spirit and be born again. If you enjoyed this content, please be sure to follow us on social media and on YouTube at Power of Godliness.